and we are recording. Are you ready?
Since we're recording, yes, I must be.
Okay, all right. So, I'm Nick. My co-host is Rick. I'm sure I'm going to mess that up at one point in time, and it's going to be funny. Like calling him Nick or something. Anyway, I've done it before. We're going to be talking about Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 2. What was the name of this episode? Disengagement?
Disengage. Yeah.
Disengage. Which is apparently Captain Picard's preferred birth control method. Ba-doom boom.
Yeah, it's a good one.
He calls it he actually calls it the Picard maneuver.
Oh. Ew.
Yes, dad jokes will be had.
Yeah, so I guess birth control is not really a thing in the 23rd and 24th century. Got all those Kirk babies and Picard babies, I guess.
God. Okay, so did you like this episode?
I think I liked it more than the first one.
Like I agree with that. That was same here, but please continue.
Yeah, from the perspective of just like content-wise, I think it's a better episode. The first one was kind of a nice introduction to memory lane. It's got all those
panning shots of stuff.
Yeah, you get to see a lot of stuff that it's like, oh, that's the Resican flute, and you know all that stuff. But this one had more substance, so we're kind of beyond the setup now, and we're moving into actual things happening.
I agree with that, but there were still those little, hey, remember this, this.
Yeah, it's still loaded with Easter eggs. It's not as egregious, perhaps, as the first episode.
Maybe, but if you are watching this, you see this beautiful picture, and I want to back up from the story, and I want to tease some more pictures that will be had in the future. So this is the teasing, and I'm going to try to, if you can, I will change this beautiful photo into our next beautiful thumbnail for this episode to give an example and lighten the mood a little bit. But continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, yeah. So I didn't hate this one. I won't say that I hated the first one from just sort of a generic like sci-fi show perspective. I thought it was kind of mediocre. I didn't think it was bad. From a Star Trek perspective, I'm deeply offended. But I try to keep that in mind.
We're going to get to that. I'm a little offended. I'm more than a little offended too.
So this episode, I enjoyed it more. I thought it made a little more sense. There's certainly some issues, but yeah, I think this was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it felt more like Star Trek. I think it felt more like an episode of Star Trek with a great big butt in there. So do you see the picture?
Oh, let me check it out here. Oh, okay, yeah.
What do you think that is? To back up, I have used Techno Magic, also known as DALL-E 3, to generate images based on little blurbs. I had ideas when I watched this episode, and I tried to like make some notes and throw it down to see what DALL-E is going to generate. And what do you think I was trying to ask DALL-E to do with this picture? I'm just curious. If you can...
So the first thing that comes to mind is create a cheeseburger in the style of a Federation ship.
No, I would say that's a good guess, but no, that's not anything. I was trying to see what DALL-E would make when I said make an evil ship, and this is the best evil ship in my opinion. So, and there is a
Out
lot
of the ones that were generated, or just generally, like, you really like the ship?
Well, I liked it, and also it was the best of like the 4 that it generated. So this is an evil ship. I'm sorry I don't have any Inception horn to play over this, and I don't want to make. Oh God, I hope that doesn't make. I hope that doesn't make Twitch out. So, so yeah, this is the evil ship, which factors heavily into the plot of this episode. So I guess let's talk about the A story. Let's talk about the space elephant in the room. Jean-Luc Picard's son is Star-Lord.
He is apparently the British accent is genetic.
Apparently,
which I think makes sense.
Okay, I have a problem with. I feel like Marvel movies have ruined movies in general, and I say this as a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I say that because Star Trek shows have to have their like Star Trek Cinematic Universe coming in with like a symbol and so forth, and the little what Jack was doing before he enters the story, with like the ship going and the like modern music playing, the oldies or whatever, I forget I don't know what song was playing, but it felt like it was very out of Guardians of the Galaxy. And then this guy is very Han Solo, and I know the explanation is going to be this is Jean-Luc Picard as his hot-headed youth that didn't get stabbed in the chest by a Nausicaan. Like, I know that's going to be the canon, but I still don't care. He's fucking Star-Lord. And
that's also genetic too.
Yes.
The hot-headedness.
Well, that's at least that actually is somewhat genetic.
Makes more sense. I just the British accent, I feel, was sort of like a foreshadowing.
I would just say I think it's just kind of dumb. Like,
I think so too.
Yeah. Okay, so the son is Star-Lord, and right out of the gate, I'm thinking, when is this episode going to tell us who is this man-child's father? And like within 5 minutes, I was like, oh, we're not going to find out until the actual ass end of the episode. And
yeah, they kind of hinted at it with the interaction between Riker and Picard. Riker's like, you don't see it, like something along those lines. Yeah, so it didn't really say it, but I think they knew it's on everyone's mind. That's why they gave him the British accent. They're trying to give you clues that you know who this is. And then how they reveal it's kind of, I thought it was interesting because it was basically just a look.
Because apparently Beverly can't talk. Apparently Gates McFadden is getting paid by the word.
Hey, good for her.
Like,
she's still getting paid without saying anything.
That actually pissed Jess off. That she just basically telepathied a thought text to Jean-Luc on the middle of the bridge, like just laying all their drama out for everybody to see, like it was Jerry Springer.
The believability of it, like if that situation were to happen in real life, I think it's kind of dumb. But I almost appreciate sort of the like simplicity of it. Like they're not just trying to explain it to you. It's not exposition or anything. It's like they're trying to emote what's actually happening. Okay. From like I guess a writer's perspective, it's more clever than just saying it. But at the same time, it's you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
Well, I mean, that's not believable at all. Like that
It's a very dramatic, which is not the Star Trek I grew up with.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not supposed to be overly dramatic.
Okay. I want to say that when I watched this, I actually did like it. I liked it more than my wife Jess did. I think she liked the first episode better. Either that or there was just too many little things or things that got under her skin to watching it. Like, hey, whose kid is this? And it's not even really, it's not even fair to call him a kid. He's 34. The actor is 34. He is not a child. He's a grown-ass man. So it's not fair to say that, but it's like, hey, who is this person? And obviously it's on several people's mind. At least, the viewers are definitely thinking they want to know who the parents of this kid is, this grown-ass man. I'm going to stop calling him kid. So
it's technically a kid still.
Yeah.
Someone's kid.
Yeah, he's somebody's kid, anyway. But like, when I watched it, I enjoyed it. But the more I thought about it afterwards, it kind of just pissed me off. And I'm not joking, it actually made me mad because it really bugged me that the super evolved humans of the 25th century don't have functional birth control, and they're just
it doesn't add up.
Like that really irritates me because I feel like that is not Star Trek. That Star Trek, everybody is like super professional. They're really educated. That science and people are fixing problems like poverty and healthcare and hunger. And I feel like there wouldn't be this many unplanned pregnancies if this actually was a thing. Like, most of the time in the real world, it's because you don't have access to healthcare, or you don't have money, or you don't have the means to see a doctor and get on a birth control pill, or you don't have insurance to cover a vasectomy or whatever, or you live in a red state and you can't get an abortion. Like, it's there in this future, there should not be unplanned pregnancies. And honestly, I feel like there are more unplanned pregnancies in Star Trek canon than we know of actual planned families.
Yeah, I was going to mention that actually because, I think it's completely absurd. Like in the 24th or 25th century, even the 23rd century, or even now, honestly, you should be able to plan better. No telling how many. I
can say that I did with my wife. We did. We managed it.
So I mean, mistakes happen, whatever. But this is an era of magic. It's science magic.
It's science magic. You're right.
I'm sure they have like a little like penis force field or something. I'm sure there is technology, right, that can make this very easy. And it's completely absurd that this still happens, but it's still very Star Trek because writers have decided to take this angle a number of times. There are all sorts of bastard children.
It's really tropey. It's tropey and lazy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's purely there as a plot device or to create some drama, but there's really no good explanation for it that really makes sense.
Okay, so we are in agreement that it makes two beloved characters from Star Trek The Next Generation not look like functioning adults.
Yeah, it's just doesn't add up.
Okay.
And Picard, especially, I don't know, he's very structured and responsible, and it just doesn't make sense for his character. But in the Next Generation, I know there was at least one instance of, this possibly happening.
Yeah, I mean, they've already done this before, so it's even.
Yeah.
But like, I would say, if I was trying to write Picard, and with his kind of, I don't know, not really liking kids, being kind of, I don't want to call him reclusive, but he is structured. He's the captain of a ship and so forth. I would imagine that he would have had a vasectomy. I mean, to be honest, and it should be even easier than it is in reality. And I can say from experience, it's pretty damn easy to get one. I mean, I'd imagine they can probably just run you through the teleporter and just run you back.
Yeah, that biofilter.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Moving on from space birth control, I want to talk about another aspect of this particular story that really, really pissed me off is what I call right-wing framing of this issue. And it hits a little too close to home because I live in a red state, and I feel like it is heavily implied that Beverly did not raise this child. So it leads me to believe that this was, number one, an unwanted pregnancy, and she carried it to term and then put him up for adoption or abandoned or whatever, or I don't know, maybe had relatives on planet Scotland to raise the kid, but he didn't turn out right. So she essentially abandoned him, as far as we know, didn't tell her other son, and did not tell Captain Picard at all. And that makes her look like a shitty person. And it just, like, that, the reason why I call it like right-wing framing, because when it comes to reproductive rights, it's always like, why don't you just have the kid and put it up for adoption? And now, like 3 weeks ago, there was a story about how the first baby drop box in Kentucky was actually used. And that's something that popped in my head when I was thinking about this. And I think that's bad. Like, not bad that is a thing in real life. And apparently in the 25th century, we still don't have this shit worked out. Like go ahead.
His accent kind of supports the theory that I think Beverly did not take care of him, right? That doesn't make sense otherwise.
I mean, well, he would have a space American accent, I guess, or
I assume he would have the accent of his mom, who he would have grown up with. That would make a lot of sense to me. Maybe there's other explanations too, but that might kind of support what you're mentioning there.
It just seems like this could have been prevented, and I just really don't like it. And it makes Picard. I would say, I think it makes Beverly look worse than Picard.
I mean, I would agree with that.
But Picard to
doesn't
me
seem to know.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
That's a problem. I would hope that Beverly would be responsible enough, right, to tell Jean-Luc about his child.
Or I mean,
but we don't.
Anything.
Yeah, it's a really weird decision to kind of keep that to yourself and not share that with the actual biological father. It just doesn't add up to me. I don't know why they chose to do that. It's a trope.
It is.
So I guess that's what they're going for.
And it makes Beverly, like, I feel like it's very tropey that, like, we have like crazed bad mom syndrome seeping to Beverly Crusher from Raffi. Like, I don't know, is her womb just roaming around in her, making her feel all the emotions and being crazy? Like, yeah, it's just kind of not great. It's not a good look, Star Trek.
Yep. Again, not the Star Trek I grew up with. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess let's move on to how Picard looks bad, in my opinion.
Because of Jack?
Well, no, because of how he reacts to like the conflict. Let's talk about the conflict in the A story, because I have some issues with
Which conflict?
The conflict of what do we do with baby Jack, and the evil ship helmed, piloted, captained by Amanda Plummer. Do you realize who that is?
Yeah, I know she is.
Okay. All right. For those of you who don't know, Amanda Plummer is the daughter of the late, great Christopher Plummer, who played General Chang, is the name, I believe?
That's right. General Chang, yep.
General Chang in one of the good Star Trek movies, Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. Yes.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too. It had a message. It had a point. I liked it. And I'm wondering,
Worf before he was Worf.
Worf before he was Worf. I guess it was like Worf's granddad or something. I don't know.
There's only so many Klingons you can hire.
There's only so many. I'm sure Tony Todd did some double duty sometime. So it's another instance of, I think Captain Shaw is right. Like he
does that a lot. He's right a lot.
Yeah, I feel like he's right, but I feel like there was too much there were too many people to argue with. And I actually think the show would work better if Shaw wasn't in it at all and just have 7 of 9 be the captain.
Yeah.
And I bet they set this up. I bet Shaw dies and then she's the captain at some point.
I expect him to die. There's no reason for that. I just believe that will happen.
Because it kind of feels like he's going to be a dick and kind of a coward and not like the standard Star Trek captain, and then he dies, and then in the next show, 7 of 9 gets to be captain of 9, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like a Jericho or something, like a captain that doesn't really fit with what you normally think of Starfleet, right? Yeah,
or not the captains
ass
that you see on like the show ships. He's not Kirk, he's not Picard, whatever.
Yep.
But
very different style.
But I have a problem, and I feel like that it was handled differently in that episode where, like Steve Shives did an episode about it, like the Damon Bach was trying to get Picard, and made him think that there was, like, he had a son.
The old Stargazer.
Yeah. When he was the captain of the Stargazer, like a reoccurring villain. And I don't know what they did in that episode, but I feel like that it was, here, take the kid, and then I'll go after him. Like, it wasn't like, let's put everybody in danger to save my possible son. And I feel like that it is very plot convenient, where it's, in the previous episode, it was, you don't have any power on my ship. But now in episode 2, I guess you can take command of the ship willy-nilly.
Down. Yep.
Yeah, like for plot reasons.
All right, guys. Yeah.
And when I got to thinking about this, I was like, holy shit. Someone should relieve Admiral Picard of, like 7 should go, hey, like in my head, she should be the captain, and she should say, hey, you're putting 500 people in danger. And it turns out we were on our way to a parade for Federation Day. So everybody thought that this was going to be a completely easy mission. So everybody brought their fucking families. So it's 500 people, and a lot of that includes spouses and kids, and because they were all going to a parade. And I'm sorry for your Star-Lord Federation criminal child who is 34 years old. We'll try to do something. We'll call for backup, essentially. But I can't put everybody in danger. And you could even tie it to her backstory. Like, I'm not going to endanger my crew like my parents did when they were following the Borg. And I think that would have, then you would just had Picard and Seven arguing and a little bit of Riker. Yeah. And I think that would have been way more interesting and a lot less futzing about. And I feel like that Seven was way more calculating in Voyager. And I feel like that, that would be more in line with what we know of her. But, tell me if I'm wrong. Anybody.
No,
anybody.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. I don't do this for a living, so I don't like me just kind of off the top of my head, while I'm in the shower, writing, in my mind, a better show, or at least a better aspect.
The people that do this for a living, I don't know that they do a much better job, so I'm just saying.
Professionals here at the Shady Rogues. I mean, look at that art.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, we outsource our art to a robot.
Everybody's going to be doing that soon. But so what do you think? Like, take the floor. A story. Anything.
Yeah. Okay. So I should say that, like, some parts of this feel pretty contrived, right? Like the whole sort of Jack is Picard's son thing. Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So you kind of have to just accept, I think, some of the things they give you, right? So we are where we are. At least we're in space, so it's got that going for it. There wasn't a lot of that in season 1.
Okay.
Certainly not a lot of that in season 2. So that makes me happy, at least.
I hear there was a lot of in an ICE detention facility.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we won't see that here.
Okay.
I hope.
Okay. All right.
There was an Easter egg.
What?
What was it? The ship was called the Mariposa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So there's a callback to season 2.
Okay.
With Rios and his doctor lady friend, who he spoilers for season 2 stayed back in time and apparently altered this reality that we're in. Somehow the same universe, not quite the same logic applies, but whatever. I stopped making sense of that kind of stuff. I treat the seasons as isolated from each other. So
okay,
season 3
that's
is
fine.
Going to be its own thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I really enjoy Amanda Plummer's performance.
Yes.
I think that's personal preference. Like, I think you could look at that and be like, wow, she is just totally ridiculous, and I hate it. And
she is chewing on that scenery.
Yeah.
Nom nom nom.
There is room for that school of thought. I'm okay with that. Personally, I think she makes an incredible villain. Like, she is earning that money.
Well, yeah, I agree. So, I liked her. To say something nice about the show, I really liked her.
Yeah.
What species I can say that at least. Is she?
I don't know.
Okay, I thought she was human.
Said yet, right?
Okay. Anyway,
she seems fascinated with human stuff, right? So
okay,
she mentions like soul, and she has a clock that ticks seconds, like those kinds of details.
Okay.
But as far as what she actually is, I don't know.
Okay. The show might not know either, to be fair.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Her intentions, I think, like, she's not what she says, right?
I guess.
Like, she claims to be a bounty hunter. She seems really interested in Jack, and it doesn't really add up. Yeah. So I think there's an ulterior motive there.
Okay.
somewhere, whatever that is.
Okay.
But they haven't given you. They've only given you little bits and pieces of the story. And that's part of the fun, right? Trying to figure stuff out and explaining that as we move into these episodes, which hopefully are paced as well as this one. I thought the pacing was pretty good too.
I will give it that. I'll give it, even though there was frustration for, paternity test. I wasn't bored with the episode. I was a little irritated with, of course, this bounty hunter evil ship has like super weapons, and apparently Starfleet stopped doing, like, I don't know, the weapons in the tech tree and just, whatever.
Yeah, isolytic weapons and
Flirp the derp, whatever.
Yeah. So, we get it. The ship is really powerful.
I guess it's
offensive capabilities.
I'm assuming, Jess mentioned, well, they've got they stole the weapons from the Daystrom Institute. So, blah.
Yeah. So that's kind of, this has to connect, I assume, to the B plot.
Yes.
So, and maybe that's, related to that somehow. We don't know yet, that weird wormhole portal tech that they have.
Yeah.
So we'll get there eventually, but yeah, like the stuff that happened on the ship, like the hour countdown and trying to figure all that stuff out, and Amanda Plummer's performance, and they get chased off into the nebula and all that stuff. For the most part, I enjoyed plot A.
For the most part, Jess got irritated because they went into the nebula because she didn't. She was like,
"It's
what?
a trope."
Well, it's an Easter egg. It's like, why are they going in the nebula? And then I just look at her and go, because Star Trek 2, they fought in
because Khan,
because Wrath of Khan, and she's just like, like.
Yeah, they've used the nebula for episodes and stuff too. Like, that's a common thing that they do in Trek.
Yeah,
I totally accept it. It's part of that universe. Makes total sense. I thought it was really funny. Yeah. Vadic's sort of glee about it was like, oh, she's really excited. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. She's hamming it up. I enjoyed her.
Yeah, so I actually really enjoyed her performance, even though it's completely over the top. But I suppose like Khan is kind of a similar situation there. He's a little over the top too.
Yeah, and
Chang,
I mean the old Klingons from the original series, they're all hamming it up. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're fun.
Yeah, so. It makes it fun. I like I mentioned, this is not the Star Trek I grew up with. But if it wants to be a fun space adventure, I'm all for it. I think that's great. I can appreciate it for what it is.
Did you like the like, what is it? The tricks that they did? I was curious if you were gonna like I'm gonna break your tractor beam with the nose of my ship. Like, I liked that, but I thought to myself, oh, I bet Rick don't like that. Like, for whatever reason.
Well, first of all, I should say I don't know how the technology works.
Neither do they.
Yeah, neither do they. Right. So it's made up in that sense. Yeah. Do I believe that's possible? Yeah, I think so. You can pull a ship to you. There's repulsor beams. You can push ships away. So, it makes sense that you could probably do that. I believe it. And I appreciate that they're doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
So. I actually did not mind that.
Okay. And then throwing the other ship at is it the Titan? Yes?
Yeah, the Titan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I kind of feel like that should have happened before, because everybody on the ship was like, holy shit, they're throwing a ship at us. And it's like, oh yeah, that happened. I'm pretty sure the Klingons have done that before, I'm just saying.
Yeah. If it's possible there, I'm sure it has happened at some point. Maybe not on screen, but in that universe, totally.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah, make use of what you have.
And
I think that was a pretty interesting showing. I like it when they're creative, but creative in a way that actually works in the universe.
Yeah, not too.
Not just making shit up.
Yeah. That's more for, like, I don't know, Star Wars, like a little bit more, wheeling and dealing. more.
I don't like fantasy in my Trek.
Yeah, I don't feel like, well, aside from like Star-Lord / Han Solo, I don't really feel like this was too much. Well, now that I think about it, Riker did throw a grenade at a couple people.
Yeah, plasma grenade.
Yeah, he threw a plasma.
Don't remember those being there.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Trek,
Yeah,
but maybe.
Yeah. And then, I guess the B story. We need to cover the B story.
Yeah. I guess we kind of segued into it and veered off again.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think about Raffi's adventures on a planet crime?
Yeah. So, District 6 is that?
I have no idea.
District 6, right?
What planet is she on?
I don't remember. Oh, Metalis Prime. Yeah, it's named after the showrunner. So if you aren't aware,
I am not.
This existed before it was introduced in Enterprise.
I have not seen Enterprise.
Yeah, so Metalis Prime is canon in that sense. It wasn't just made up for Picard, but
okay, all right.
It was made up. It's named after Terry Metalis, the showrunner.
Okay,
he was like a personal assistant or something on Enterprise, and as a joke, they made this really terrible, awful planet. They named it after him as a joke. So it's still with us. It's like, since it already exists, I actually don't mind that they're using it. I think it's kind of funny.
Okay, fair.
But that's okay. I can totally understand why somebody would be like, I know.
It's not I don't know where this place is. It's more of they're on Hutta from Star Wars. Like they're just on the Hutt planet, the crime planet.
It is outside the Federation.
Okay.
That was established. So
okay.
That's why they still have things like money, I guess, because that's not a problem inside the Federation, right?
The hyper evolved space communists have not reached to that point in space. Sort
of, I guess, but totally makes sense if Ferengi's there. I get that.
Yes.
Yeah, and is it Sneed? Yeah, Sneed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked his character. I think he plays that really well. I don't know anything about the actor.
I have no idea. I just don't care about the Raffi plot. I don't care.
Yeah. I think that's my main takeaway after I talk about a bunch of stuff, is that just like the first episode, like I don't care. I don't care about Raffi's whatever she's doing over there. Of course, they introduce Worf in this sort of B plot. So,
and you called it. I don't know who in the previous.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I said it's going to be somebody we know, and then I think we basically somebody threw out Geordi, and somebody threw out like it's going to be Worf, and then wow, it's Worf. And
I remember saying it was not going to be Geordi, so I may have been indirectly correct.
Yeah, he's going to be the head of section whatever. I say 31. That half jokingly. He's got a red visor on now. I don't know. Anyway,
I saw him referred to as captain. I don't know if it was in the episode or maybe some of the extra stuff I've watched. Like I watched the Ready Room and those things.
Oh wow, you're twice as nerdy as I am.
Yeah, well, I'm still interested, even though I kind of hate watch Picard, but. Like I'm still interested in the universe, and especially since we're reviewing this, right? I want to do a little bit of homework. So
okay, fair enough.
I've been guilty of watching the Ready Room though for seasons 1 and 2. So
okay, all right,
that's on me.
Okay, yeah,
it's one of the main reason I don't like Will Wheaton, actually. So sorry, Will.
All right, well, let's not tangent off into our hatred of Will Wheaton, our shared frustration with Will Wheaton. But like, okay, B story. I think that this is going to be a spin-off into a Worf / Starfleet intelligence show. I think that it is I think it's a backdoor pilot, because I remember that several years ago they were going to give Worf his own show. Am I misremembering that?
I don't know anything about it. I feel like maybe I heard that too.
I thought you
but
told me about it.
maybe that was a long time ago, and my memory is highly unreliable. So
Yes, yes.
that makes sense. I mean, Worf is like well, maybe aside from Data, who's gone now, right? So
Yeah.
like the character that everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
And he's been, I
Yeah.
mean, he's one of the most popular characters. It can be more action schlock. He can behead even more people. He can break that purple space bazooka out from
They
Insurrection.
made him Elnor.
Yes.
When he
Yes.
came out with it's the Kurlith, yeah, they gave him a new weapon.
It's a
So,
katana.
You know, the bat. Yeah, so it's called the Kurlith. It's a new Klingon weapon because they need more melee weapons. But yeah,
Why do you
it just
know
like
this?
he came out. Just I do my research. What can I say?
Okay.
So
All right. I know. I'm throwing
I have a
stones. Glass
curiosity on all
house.
things Trek. Yeah, you're a nerd too. You can't say much.
Yeah.
But,
Go ahead.
It's like before you even see his face, you see like a weapon go through somebody. I'm like, oh my god, no, this is not Trek.
But
I
it
don't wanna
is
see more
Worf.
dismemberments.
It's not Trek, but it is Worf.
It's Elnor.
Well,
For
okay.
sure.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, I mean, it's movie Worf. Like, movie Worf is always like in what? First Contact, he's chopping up Borg. In Insurrection, he's using his purple space bazooka.
Yeah.
Like, it's way more action oriented. And I'm fine with that. It's just, we don't need another beheading. Like, that's what
it fits
I
his
have a
character.
problem. Yes,
No,
but
obviously has a long history of killing people with melee weapons. So yeah, I don't have too much grievance with that. It's just, man, just like we had this in season 1 and season 2 with Elnor. I want to get away from it. I want to go back to, like, I don't know, critiques on society and mystery solving,
talking stuff through
space mysteries. Yeah, also there's a lot of misdirection there, right? Like with the trailers, he's like, "Oh, now I am a pacifist," and
oh bullshit! If this is pacifist
Yeah.
mode, you suck at it.
First second, literally the first second he's introduced, it's like stab, slash, chop.
He kills 3
Just-
people. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't count them, but yeah, I think you're right.
there was 2 goons and a Ferengi with
Yeah.
face tats.
Oh yeah, and we also got a beheading, which is great.
Yeah.
What was his name? Toluca.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's-
Okay.
That's fun.
Wait a minute. Like, all right. So the Ferengi crime boss, I completely forgot that he just pulled out a severed head, and then did Worf also behead him, or am I misremembering?
I don't remember the fighting too much. I think I probably looked away.
Clutching
I want to look
pearls.
away at my childhood being destroyed.
Oh, I don't care about the story. I don't. I feel like it takes away from what I care about more, and not to say that I care about too much about what's going on in this show, really.
Yeah, the stuff going on in District 6 is something that, like, I think most of Trek has not really dealt with.
Crime.
I saw, yeah, I saw in
Drugs.
some of the supplementary material that they were really interested in doing something like District 6. They wanted to explore the seedy underbelly of the Star Trek universe or whatever. And that's just not Star Trek. That's
to
some
make
other
it more
sci-fi.
like
It's Blade
not-
Runner.
Blade Runner or The Expanse. It's just making it more grim, dark, generic, space, whatever. It's not Star Trek.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about this, but since you mentioned that, I feel like the whole show is really dark.
Yep.
Do you have that feeling?
Like literally dark.
Like literally, just it's nighttime on District 6, and it's dark in the ships, kind of like Discovery. I don't know why they turn on the lights more. Like,
I noticed that in
more light.
I noticed it in the first episode when Picard was talking to his girlfriend at his house. Like I really noticed
It's dark in there. Yeah.
The light was really coming through the windows, and it's just, I don't know if that's like some sort of like happy medium with like the J.J. Abrams lens flare, or what, you know, a stylistic choice. But yeah, I do think that everything is just visually dark. Like that's just my take. And okay.
It just feels grim and dark. Again, not the Trek I grew up with. Just, I don't know.
I think
it's very different.
Okay, so I think that Marvel ruined movies, and like HBO ruined television, like The Sopranos and Game of Thrones, and like Breaking Bad and Mad Men. They were on what channel? A&E or whatever. Not A&E, AMC, American Movie Classics. Like everything is trying to be this dark and gritty, large narrative, complex bad guy character studies. And Star Trek isn't that, like, or at least not what we've seen. I mean, you could say some of that is in Deep Space Nine. Like there's some interesting dark shit in that, but not like this, if that makes sense. So I kind of feel like that it's trying to be something it's not. And I think that is hurting the show because, there are times that Breaking Bad is funny, but most of the time it's people being dipped in acid or, getting shot in the head or something. Buried in the desert. And sometimes there's funny stuff in Game of Thrones, but most of the time people just remember the dragons, cooking people, There
are some humorous moments in season 3 of Picard here that I think the humor is well done. I don't know if you agree with me on that. Like I've actually enjoyed the stuff that they meant to be funny. Like the little miniature Galaxy class ships, or like when they all answer Captain, like okay, like Captain, and they're like, oh yes,
they've done that joke before, but
still. Yeah, it's an old joke, but still, I still enjoy that. It helps with the tension. It doesn't feel really out of place necessarily. I think like when I think back to like the Next Generation, it's pretty serious.
Yeah.
Most of the comedy comes from Data pretending to be human, or Worf being an idiot, like that kind of stuff.
Being a horrible dad.
Yeah, but the humor in this season of Picard is, I think, a little more rounded. Like it fits. I enjoy it.
Okay, I have no real memory of thinking anything was funny. I will try to. I will try to cast a wider net when I watch it in the future.
It's amusing. Like it's not like ha 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 ha, but
more like he he he.
Yeah, it's more just releasing some tension.
Okay.
A little comedy around the edges. I feel like it lands. It's subtle. There aren't like actual jokes necessarily.
More upbeat.
Riker. Yeah, Riker talking about his knees, for example. Not a joke, but still kind of funny.
A little bit of levity. Yeah. I get that. That. That's fine.
Yeah. I appreciate that. So I think that part of it's been well done for what it is. Again, doesn't really match with like the Next Generation or anything. It's a different kind of humor, but I still appreciate it.
Okay. I have one nitpick that will lead us into our art show. Okay? So I just looked at my notes, and me and Jess had a real problem with Riker completely disregarding what the doctor said, and then he just injects Beverly with a stimulant apparently and wakes her up. And that really pissed Jess off, and I actually thought that he was maybe he was doing an impromptu blood test to try to determine if she was even the, you know,
Well, look at you giving the benefit of the doubt.
because I was trying to fix the show, because I feel like that they could probably just look at the transporter data and go, yep, he's related to her. Yep, he's related to him. Yep, okay. Next question.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's very, very not Trek.
yes, very not Trek.
The well-being of people is something that's always really important.
Completely disregarding the autonomy of a grown-ass woman. Yep.
Yeah,
Not a good look, Star Trek.
I would say that, like, sometimes, like, the ends justify the means. You know, like, yeah, I know, but I think there's some of this in Trek, like,
Yeah.
you know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one or whatever. I don't know how important it was to actually bring her back. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what in the plot that really. I mean, they could verify that Jack is her son, but, like, was that really that helpful? I don't know.
It only
I don't think
made it only made Picard act completely erratic.
Yeah, it only sealed their coffin. So,
Yeah.
in hindsight, a poor choice.
Okay. So the theme, the inspiration for my art show is I want to see all the old favorite characters kill people in the show. We have seen Dr. Beverly Bone Crusher shoot a plague doctor with a space shotgun. We have seen Riker blow up some people with a space grenade. So I asked Dali to generate pictures of Riker blowing up plague doctors with with a space grenade. And I have two of them. They both turned out pretty well. So let's see.
I've tried to generate my own images, and I've been disappointed with most of them.
Is
they
this
didn't really
is it
come
up
out the way I wanted? Waiting for it.
You're waiting for it.
Yeah.
And
there we go.
So I liked how this turned out. I noticed that Dolly is able to, it seems to know that Riker needs a beard.
Yeah,
so
it seems to know that.
So I feel like this is of, you know, maybe Riker as almost like a D&D character throwing like holy water, a holy grenade at this guy.
Looks a little bit like a Christmas ornament.
Kind of. Okay, so this is number one, and
is that seaweed? Are they underwater?
I don't know. I did not notice that. So
yeah, the images this thing generates are just wild.
Yeah. Okay. So here's number two, and I want to see if you think the same thing that I thought. Any day now. Is it up?
There we go. Oh, okay.
So who does that guy on the left look like?
I mean, that has to be Q, right?
Yeah, that is what I thought.
Did you prompt it for Q?
No.
Huh.
But, you know, Riker's definitely got that beard.
Yeah,
I mean,
got the beard.
Yeah, and it looks like that he is getting ready to, you know, it looks like he's almost got like a giant Easter egg, or like maybe like a dinosaur egg. And Q has got that great big, like, oh no, open mouth right there, sort of. Like
Dolly seems to think the plasma is green, which I find fascinating. Is
that actually something that you found, or?
I have no idea.
Or are you just making shit up right now? You're just making shit up.
I just the Christmas orb was also that kind of color of green, so I think it's kind of funny.
Oh, the other one
that has
blue,
to be Q though.
But that's Q.
Was it?
Yeah, and
I'm colorblind.
I'm noticing that like that thing on his arm, that kind of like weird Mega Man, like that kind
Mega
of
Buster.
Yeah, that kind of showed up in some of the Beverly Crusher shotgun photos from last week too.
Okay.
So now I've got several of these. I've got what I tried to prompt Dolly this time was Worf fights a Ferengi, and I've actually got 4 of them. I really liked how they turned out, and I'm going to try to leave the best for last. So we're going to start. Yeah. So I really like our art show aspect of this.
This is fun. I like it. Yeah. Something unique too.
Yeah, I like this.
How many people are doing this?
Okay. So this is Worf.
That looks pretty good.
Yes, Worf fighting a Ferengi, and I tried to prompt it with saying Worf beheads a like shady Ferengi or a criminal Ferengi, and it really didn't
it does violence.
It doesn't like violence, but yeah.
I tried to do some things with like the shotgun phaser and shooting things, and like I had a really hard time getting something that was good out of that, and he usually didn't really seem to listen to me. So I think there's probably some sort of like filter on violence that keeps it.
Yeah, they don't
those kinds of images.
Yeah, they don't like that. Here's another one. I'm not really sure. I kind of feel like this should be, in a set of hieroglyphics or maybe like on a cave or something like that. I like Worf's kind of old school original series outfit. Like I feel like he's wearing a Kirk shirt.
Yeah.
And I assume the one on the right is the Ferengi. I don't know why he has the sword.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's hard to tell in this image. I'm not sure. I think the one in the sort of Trek costume looks more Worf-like.
Yeah, and not the weird kind of like Star Wars Imperial Guard kind of, or even like medieval look.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a couple more on this one, and I am definitely saving the best prompt for last.
Apparently Michael Dorn suggested too that Worf should be more like a samurai these days. So that's kind of where that idea came from, I think.
I think this is more of a pacifist, like, lay down your weapons. Like, ease up there, Ferengi dude. What do you think about this one?
It's good. I think the Ferengi needs bigger ears, but yeah.
He almost looks like I feel like Dolly gets Worf better than just generic Ferengi.
Yeah, like it takes information from just the body of knowledge that is out there, right? And it makes sense that there's probably way more images of Klingons in Worf versus any sort of Ferengis. Totally makes sense.
I don't know, like every one of them made Worf bald, and I don't understand like why they make him bald. All right, last one on the Worf prompt, and I really like this one because it's ridiculous.
He's mostly bald. He's got some hair on the sides, right? But he's got those like big ridges, and like his head's kind of smooth.
So you have Worf throwing up a broadsword at Dave Bautista as a Ferengi. I want to see Dave Bautista as a Ferengi crime boss. Like I really want to see that.
Worf in this picture actually looks more like the original series Klingons to me.
He does. Yeah. And
there wasn't much distinction from humanity other than just some pronounced eyebrows and some darker color skin.
Yeah. Hey, this time he's not bald. He's got a... Yeah. Okay, so the final prompt. We're going to end the show on a high note. I have 4 beautiful images of what I think Geordi LaForge is going to murder somebody with, because
Okay.
because everybody, like, we've seen 3 old favorites, take some people out. They've been, very efficient in their business, in their job, and their job is not pretty. So I think that because Geordi is like the head of some library or whatever, I think he is going to literally kill somebody with a painting. And I chose the prompt of Geordi LaForge attacks a Borg drone with art, with a painting.
Okay.
And I think that they have definitely, like, here's the first, the least of the 4, and I kind of feel like that he is going to Hadoken a painting at like a Borg drone. Like, I think they took it as a drone, like, that flies around, not a like a Borg, alien species with shit in their face, that it was more like a drone in the air. So
it would be really meta if he took this painting and then threw it at the Borg.
Yes,
it decided to put it in a frame and mat and everything. That's amazing.
So this is the least of the best, in my opinion. And
I like the inclusion of a visor. I think that's fantastic.
They actually do Geordi better than Worf, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the style is very kind of modern Trek violent, in my opinion. Like, I feel like that I like this one. I feel like it's kind of modern Trek. Like he kind of looks like a space cop, and he's got, like, this one's got glasses, and, like, he just kind of looks like a space cop, and he's just kind of like, brandishing his photo of something at this Borg whatever, who is also in a painting.
Oh, this is such a great allegory for just Picard in general. Just the weirdness of it. It's Star Trek.
Off.
It's Geordi, but it's not.
But it's not. I hope I'm not the only, I hope I'm not, like, I hope I am the first person to come up with this is just all Easter eggs in an AI generating, think box.
Yeah.
That made sense. All right, 2 more.
Made as much sense as Picard.
It made it, yes. All right, 2 more, and these are the best. Oh, all right, I'm gonna go with this one. I got two to go. So I kind of feel like this is Admiral LaForge. Kind of.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like maybe that is a Starfleet ship that maybe
starship has legs.
I think it's been Borgified. So, yeah. All right. 1 more. The best for last.
Oh, no.
Okay. I like this one the best because I think it's the most kind of menacing looking.
When you say the best, I don't actually expect the best. I expect the worst.
This is the thumbnail right here.
Okay, yeah.
Like, he almost looks like Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Geordi LaForge.
Judge LaForge.
Yes. And the I don't know what that is floating. I don't know if that is a part of his right arm or what.
Well,
that kind of like
clearly a tablet that he's
I don't know. I think it looks something, kind of like cosmic.
And that's a Borg in the painting, right? It's supposed to be.
I don't know.
Sort of.
I don't know. I don't know if that thing floating where his arm is supposed to be. I don't know if that's like a Borg, shaped ship,
Yeah.
like whatever. But
Huh.
but he looks grim, and he's got his visor, and he's got like his space cop uniform, and it almost looks like he's got like a flak jacket on, or like a bulletproof space vest or something like that. But I really like how this one turned out. This is my favorite.
Yeah, for the crowd of art lovers out there that likes to analyze paintings, like, this seems just as interesting. It's like, well, what does that mean? Why is that floating there? Like, what?
It just is.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you could analyze this, I think, a lot, but ultimately it just comes from a bunch of like a robot with a bunch of content.
Just like the show.
That's good rap, I think.
Okay, so
looking forward to episode 3.
I really enjoyed this. So should I keep going with the Dolly art? Is that the highlight of the show?
I like this. It's a good sort of enjoyable moment after we just kind of, I don't know, talk crap about something for an hour.
After we beat the show with sticks.
Yeah, and just throw this out there. I hate Picard season 2, and I pretty much hate season 1. I'm going to say that season 3 so far is the best season. So that's
it's the least
positive
worst
vibes. Yes, the least worst of. So
okay,
I'm hopeful the third one will be even better. We'll see.
Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna say goodbye to our YouTube viewers of the future. If you're watching this on YouTube and you liked this, let us know how we're doing. Subscribe to us on YouTube at the Shady Rogues. Give a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you don't like this, tell us what we're doing wrong. I am completely open. Yeah, go for it. Comment. Drive the engagement. Serve the algorithm.
Yep.
All right, so let's say bye to YouTube. Bye, YouTube.
Goodbye.